The world is ever changing and not always in your favor. No matter what happens, sometimes, unless you were to take action, your future, your destiny isn't going to be yours anymore. Take a look around here, for example. The Seljuks are slowly but surely falling apart, their entire dynasty falling into disarray. The Fatimid Caliphate, well, it barely is a caliphate. Yes, technically this right here is the real caliph, but it truly doesn't mean anything. The Basileia Romayon has been in constant civil wars for close to 3 decades now, and well, then we have, of course, the one that we don't speak about, the great conqueror. Heinrich IV is taking over more and more of the Catholic world, making sure that he will be seen as the universal emperor, one of the most important people and positions to hold in Western Christianity. The way I see this is that our time right here is equally as limited as all of those that are opposing whatever is currently unfolding in each of the regions mentioned. We should have been, for all intents and purposes, the heir to Sicily. It should be us right now, right here, that gets crowned in Palermo by the Pope himself. I do understand on an out of character, on a narrative level, why the Pope would be crowning the King of Sicily. Realistically speaking, he has been ousted from Rome by the Universal Emperor. Clearly, Heinrich IV is attempting to roll back papal authority to where it was during the Carolingian period, when the Carolingian kings were, in reality, of course, the people dominating even church politics and hierarchy. What is happening here now is far removed from that. The Pope wanted more power, and now instead Heinrich IV put one of his very own, look at that, it is the same dynasty, up onto the castles of Rome. Of course, he wants a new protector, and he wants to find that maybe in Sicily. And here he is. Ré Richard, our cousin, is being crowned. Our destiny has been taken from us. When this occurred, we made a decision. Jourdan right here decided that Malta the Rock wouldn't be his prison, that he wouldn't simply spend his life here arduously trying to wear down, of course, Asharism, fighting it back and establishing a new order. Maybe afterwards, looking towards North Africa and taming it, much like the Norman Sicilians, of course, attempted to do it historically as well. He decided that that wasn't going to be his lot. He took a stance and said, I shall go, I shall find my fortune elsewhere. And I really do want to point out that this is actually quite common. We have it, of course, with the Hauteville family, quite literally, right, taking over Sicily, as I described in the last video. But we also have it with other people like Harald Hardrade, who lost the fight for Norway together, with his allies, and then actually was ousted. He was in exile, first here in Ruthenia and Gardariki, then later on in Basileia Romayon. He fought in Sicily. He even was in the Holy Land, until he made it back into Norway, and ultimately, of course, finding his demise, historically speaking, in England. That didn't happen here. He lived on to be the ruler of Norway, and now it is his son Olaf right here. Either way, what you can see right there, that is indeed very, very common. When you don't have any inheritance that is worth inheriting, and I gotta tell you that most people would gladly accept Malta, but he has greater ambitions, then you will set out to find your luck or to create your destiny elsewhere, in a region that is still more volatile, because ultimately, Sicily has now been partitioned. What we see right here, it is all already set out. Now, I do want to explore just a single relationship right here a little bit closer. I'm gonna be honest with you, our sisters, we don't actually have strong relations with them. I assume that they came with us because the Altavia family, that house is essentially done and dusted. Oh, and look at that. They seem to be traveling, actually. Yeah, they are visiting. They are going into Palermo. Oh, I wish I could shed my sisters as well, quite frankly. They are not exactly on my side. Obviously, it's just the AI doing it, but I am very much offended that they are attending this coronation. Either way, be that as it may, it doesn't really matter. The relationship I think that does matter is the one with our wife, because it isn't actually a deeply positive one, and I think the explanation is pretty straightforward. She is the daughter of the former Count of Syracuse. We wanted her to kind of cement our rule. That was this marriage's purpose. Roger, our father, set it up for that reason. And then ultimately we ended up landless. She must be very unhappy with us. She was already not approving of the grain deal. She's also ambitious, and she is, maybe most importantly, zealous. I want to explore this because this is an interesting angle. Are we close to, giving up Christianity to saying I'm turning Ashari? I don't think so. At least not in our heart of hearts. Our wife would never forgive us. But you have to realize one thing. While we travel right here, how much will we, truthfully spoken, actually go out of our way to clarify that we are Christian, that we are not, considering converting to Islam? I don't think we're going to do this all too much. When somebody comes into our camp and they ask whether we believe in Allah, we will probably give them a vague non sequitur. you know, assuming that maybe on a technicality, of course, it is the same god anyway, and so on and so forth. I think what we have chosen to do is treat our faith as quite the, well, you know, interesting mess. We will adhere to it, we will follow it whenever it is convenient, and other than that, we will kind of just shove it to the side. When we take a look at Marta, well, she is ambitious, but in my opinion, she probably had the ambition to be the Countess of Malta and to first turn Malta into a Catholic province, but then, indeed, as I described, push into North Africa ourselves. We have gotten rid of that entire plan completely. In fact, we have even learned Arabic. I gotta tell you, I think she is ambitious, and she does believe in us, and she begrudgingly actually supports us here, but clearly she also thinks us a fool that had something and now has nothing, and still demands respect. To her, we may be the father of her children. She is currently pregnant yet again, which, by the way, will also turn us into a bastard founder, which is a welcome change for me. But ultimately, I think, yeah, she thinks what we are doing here is exactly the wrong choice. We had a holy mission to secure this land right there, and we didn't take it. But alright, all of that aside, that is not actually on Sir Jordan's, you know, mind. He is thinking of Sicily the way it was when his family arrived here, and he is looking outwards. Where is that also the case? Now, do recall, as I described, of course, that Roger right here and all of his brothers arrived when there was already some Norman presence here. They were already adventuring there because there was loot to be had, there was fight, of course, to be fought. That is not the case anymore. This is now a consolidated region. I think the same can be said for other regions. You know, if you take a look at all of this right here, if you look at England, it is quite pacified. This right here is a chaotic region, I will give it that, but I think it is far too chaotic to be wealthy. Sicily at no point stopped being wealthy, even during its most chaotic days. Even this right here is essentially anarchy. I think currently we might be looking towards going westwards. Let's take a look at where the adventurers are. Look at that, there are a ton of adventurers over here in Iberia, actually. We have a ton of adventurers here as well. I guess there is a lot of warfare in the Byzantines. And here, I think most of these are actually just like, they're Godwins. Godwin, we got a Sponheim right there, another Godwin. They're mostly just Godwins, to be honest with you. I think we might be going towards Iberia, at least for a stint. We'll see how that goes. You know what? For the time being, I would much rather just do a contract. Let's grab something here. I was really hoping... Oh, there it is. For something diplomatic. That's amazing. Thank you very much. We got ruler reputation and regal court. Let's do the ruler reputation first. Travel to accept. Easy clap. Let's get on a merry way. And we are then going to found our very own dynasties. Well, I'm going to go with Valor here now. I would like to dip into this. Currently, we just have the Wanderer Camp Purpose. I think Swords for Hire, in the tradition, of course, of our dynasty, or, well, our father and his brothers, is something that we're going to be looking into sooner rather than later. Oh, and this is so interesting. A stroll around the market of Slakta. A loud ruckus comes from just a couple of stalls down from me. There's a furious man, animated and waving his hands. Serene Doge Adrano will have your head for this, he yells at another merchant, who looks, if possible, even angrier. I would love to see him try. The stall owner dismisses the merchant with a wave of his hand. Angrily turning to his bodyguards, the merchant clearly intends to get a deal one way or another. This is actually crazy interesting. So, in this period, the Italian merchant republics just were beginning to blossom. Amalfi had already fallen to the Norman Sicilians, who had ruined it by, you know, actually putting grain directly under their monopoly, so all of a sudden taking away much of the trade that Amalfi would be conducting, especially with North Africa. Now we have Genoa, we have Pisa, we have Venice, of course, actually matter here. And that is quite interesting to me as well. They are trying to, you know, put some roots down here, I assume, trying to supply and secure this new market right there. And we would find this interesting. Now, Venice is far away. I don't think we've ever had contact with them. And I am not in the position to have all of this money. I am actually in a position where I'm like, you know what, seems like the perfect time to make some coins. I will try to get a deal out of this, and even if we fail, he's arrogant, he's ambitious, he thinks he can make this happen. We only have an 11% chance right here. We are seeing Christian influence in North Africa, as it happened historically as well. I love it. I lost the money, of course we did. Just as a heads up, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and ignore all of my negative opinions that come from cultural acceptance and Asharism is evil. I don't think that this matters at all to us as a landless ruler. It's nonsense. I don't care for it at all. Fundamentally, we see these people way more negatively than we normally would, given our circumstances and where we are. I'm just going to ignore that stuff. I'm not going to act on it when I see it, as long as we are landless. Once we get landed, I will definitely do. We have now another son. It's interesting that it is a son, actually, and we are now a bastard founder, as we have created our own dynasty. Obviously, I'm not going to go with Fitz Safakis, so Fitz just means the son of. Basically, it is the denomination that you use here when you are a bastard founder as a Norman, and Safakis is where we currently are. It is not our land. Come on, that doesn't make any sense. I am going to use our own name and so on and so forth. I'm going to do this in a second. Now, I will tell you, Gerald, I don't really like this. I think I'm going to go with Jordan. Do we actually have a Jordan deeper down in the family? Tancred? I'm not so sure. I might be the first Jordan, but I want to name him after myself. I think that is fine. I will treat my sons well, but I will also have as many sons as I humanly can. Anyway, let's take a look at this right here. I will change this dynasty and the house. We are now on our own. You really have to take this into account. This is more a personal banner than anything, right? We aren't really a dynasty, given the fact that we don't hold any land, but we are separate from the Hauteville dynasty. That should be clear. And, well, that means it is time for a new name, a new sigil, and a new motto. And there you go. This is who we are now. I've even renamed us to the Noble Pursuit, because that is how he views himself. We are of House de Sicile, which ultimately just is exactly, I think, what would happen here. We arrive in North Africa. They look at us a little bit weird and they go, "Who are you?" And while saying we are the Hautevilles, it may create, of course, tension, but more importantly, we hardly are a part of that family anymore. So instead, we will say we are a Sicilian, des Sicile. That is exactly what we are. That is where our claims lie. I did keep this white-red pattern that the Hauteville dynasty has, straped across right here, and that we put underneath us, right? If you recall Altavir, this here indicated that faith rules our family, and we are a tool of the faith, essentially. But that is long gone, of course. It doesn't really reflect us. I did want to carry this Norman, type of thing forward. I wanted to show the ferocity and the innocence of our pursuit that we have here. And then, in the very center, you find on a golden ground a black lion. This itself was, at least, we have some indications for this, one of the symbols, one of the personal coat of arms of our father. Roger right here was using it. We also actually have evidence that Robert was using a red lion in comparison. We are going to stick with the black lion. That is who we are. That is the legacy of our father. And then, of course, our house motto is Virtus in actione consistit, which means virtue lies in action. Like I said, we have to be the architect of our own fortune. And that is part of it. I really like this sigil right here. It is a bit of a unique one. We might change it going forward as well, giving it a couple of more features as we go and maybe conquer, maybe rule over different lands. But right now, we are trying to say what our background is, right? This is the surrounding feature. It is the Norman family of the Hautevilles. But then we are the son of our father. That is exactly what our purpose has been all our life and what it shall be going forward. Oh, and Adelise died in childbirth. That is, of course, unfortunate. House Altavir, might I add, will definitely come to an end here. Sir Jourdain of Drangeau's menhir has passed, and now a very young Sir Battiston of the Drangeau's menhir has taken control. He is weak. I fear House Drangeau will indeed just kind of fade out of existence. Very unfortunate for them. They were one of the first Normans down here, the first Norman landholders, but you can't have everything. Simultaneously, there's infighting in the Hauteville family, Bohemond's rebellion and a liberty war. I don't think it matters to us. I think this is wholly inconsequential to our purpose. Now, we are now succeeding here. It's surprising how much a few little words and quiet corners can change a situation. A whisper here, a comment there, an action offended at dinner. It wouldn't have nearly the same meaning coming from a landed magnate, of course. Too much power, too much at stake, too much risk of insincerity. But a humble wanderer, stopping at court briefly as he is and his band went their way around the world. Well, now that's an entirely different game. We are great with our words. We are successful in building reputation for others. We really need to make it out of disgrace. I need to at least be established. But yeah, we are exactly what this kind of contract was, right? That is our capability right here. That is our skill. Oh, and our wife is actually pregnant again. Let me go deeper down here. Spouse opinion plus 50. That's interesting. So I don't think I'm feeling any more positive towards her, as I'm slowly but surely showing that I am now a bastard founder, right? That I have the willingness to go out of my way to create a new destiny and fortune for myself and all those that come after me. I think she's starting to trust us. I really like that perk. I think narratively it fits very, very closely into what our wife would think of us, even if we play it a little bit loosely with our religion. Dinner at Chieftain Abisalom's court is an ideal time to impress his courtiers with my dashing escapades, so we are indeed trying to regale the court of this nomadic ruler. Essentially, we're just traveling, getting to know the local tribes. The happier they are, the fatter my purse is likely to be. Of course, this calls less for subtle wit and more for stories of grand endeavors, replete with heroism and villainy, accurately or otherwise. I mean, we did partake in the 30-year conquest of Sicily. I am pretty sure that we have plenty of stories to tell. All stories grow in the telling, eat the free food and leave it at that. I don't think so. I think I know a few such tales. I mean, I do. But, you know what, actually, I guess this is just straight up better. So, you know what? Let's try it. Your deeds are charming. We did achieve a lot. I don't even need to lie about it. That would be very much ridiculous. Oh my god. What the hell is going on? You were attacking the Pope? Did he not just... Oh, the Pope was only attending! The Pope was begging him to treat him well. He wasn't actually crowning Richard. Oh my god. That is actually kind of crazy. I wish I had this kind of piety. Obviously I don't. Huh. The Pope won't find any peace, it seems. Everybody opposes his authority. And there you go, we have succeeded here as well. Day after day, night after night, we've filled their heads with fantastical stories and our bellies with rich fare, leaving the good chieftain more than satisfied with our performance. The story of who we are, of what we represent, and what we have lost. You know, we were faltered, of course. That is the tale that we tell here in North Africa. I think it is spreading. People here are quite sympathetic to us for that. I do really like that. I do, however, think, given the fact that he doesn't have... You know, let me check for contracts here. I might do one more wave of contracts, but after that we will be moving on. I don't actually like any of these. No. We're leaving. This is an interesting location. I have studied it well. Actually, let me fight corruption, and after that we shall be moving on. I will be moving west. I have thought about it. I know, of course, mechanically speaking, the Crusades will be coming up. I think the Crusades in this scenario, in this world, are in a different kind of condition. The Pope barely has any power, and I myself don't really want to go in such a poor region. This region here, just for the record, because of the turmoil that, you know, makes it so that the Silk Road no longer would be nearly as influential, would be incredibly poor in comparison to the historical time frame where the Fatimid Caliphate actually held, you know, for this entire period here until the Crusades came along. The way I see it is we're not going to go on the Crusade. Just to make this clear to you right now, at least under the current conditions, I don't think that if the Pope called to arms, he would listen. The Pope hasn't done anything for him exactly. And we have another son. Oh my god, we're having so many sons. I am going to name you, what about Richard? I don't think so. Oh my god, imagine if I had to see that name. You know what, William? That's not a bad name at all. Oh my god, are you seeing how what the hell, man? Am I just small? Look at this dude. I look like a child next to him. Okay, we are suppressing now a couple of unruly nomad tribes. It should be said that in this period, and in our scenario here, without a doubt, the Berber tribes were going through a devastating period. Of course, we were looking at dwindling food supplies. This massively impacted the Berber tribes in particular, as they, of course, weren't the actual political power holders at this time. The Zurich governorate had been fighting them, had been suppressing them for decades already, and then, of course, as I discussed it, the tribes that came in here, although I see in Cyrenaica, at the very least, we now have a resurgence of the Zenata, but the Arab tribes that came in here, the Banu Sulaim and the Banu Hilal, they were indeed then the new power holders, also yet again pushing against the Berbers. So I suppose that is exactly what I'm doing. I am supporting the push against them, making sure that the Berbers will stay loyal. Silence your people or die, peasant. I had to leave somebody behind, that is fine, but we have indeed succeeded with the contract. That is a lot of money. Thank you very much. Now this one matters, this is our son after all. They say children react more than anyone else to the places they find themselves. It's fortunate for my son Roger then that he finds himself in the company of the most loyal companions, interesting acquaintances, and helpful retainers that I've been able to gather. A fine environment for a young boy to grow up in. I do agree, we could go with Wanderlust right here. I kind of like all of those traits, or almost all of them I should say. We could say, perhaps we could consider another path. I do like the diplomacy challenge right here. He is already quite good at it, which is about exactly what we wanted for him, right? I think I'm gonna go with another trait. I want this to really shape him. When we play Roger, if we play Roger, I want to see him having become a man from a camp. He's become eccentric. That is so interesting. I have never roleplayed an eccentric character. Very, very nice. We do also here have an issue. Griselda has been traveling us around Takios for hours, and though she at least swallowed her bride and asked for directions, she does not appear to be an expert Arabi speaker. But I am. Very, very nice. Oh, and I think this is my signal to leave here. Traveling the lands of my acquaintance Amiguan Amin has my entourage on edge, even panicky. At a single unknown noise, we jump into arms, and lo, a mysterious silhouette is amidst our wagons. Good evening, smiles the intruder coyly, toying with a blade. If only we'd met under more pleasant circumstances, she pouts. Still, Amiguan Amin wishes me to welcome you. Meriaye here is a Norman, Jesus. And she's going to kill me, huh? I will kill you. There you go. Your guards execute the assassin. And he has become my nemesis. I don't think I can do anything about this other than fighting him. And quite frankly, I will do this. I remember the tales. I remember all of the tales when the Emir was slain in Syracuse, or in front of Syracuse by, of course, my uncle. Let's take a look at him where he is. William Bradefair. Iron Arm, there he is, yeah. What we're experiencing here now is hostility. People know us, they know our name. Maybe this was even the long arm of the Sicilians. Maybe he right here was paid to try and kill us. Maybe, but it doesn't really matter, because I will earn glory, I will execute him, and then leave this region. I think the hostility here is a clear signal that this is no longer the land that I want to be in. Let us fight him. We're fighting with an... I like this sword a lot more than this tiny little weapon. Alright, well. Amiguan Amin of Al-Hamar, screams my opponent, flailing. He says his own name? Okay, well, if you say so. You know what your problem is? I mean, no, well, you know what? I will actually tell him that tale. I first will talk to him and then crush him. It's an art choice. Normally I wouldn't make this choice, but it seems very in character. This might even be my destruction here, right? My form is non-existent. My risky move could mean defeat, and Amin's stance is passable. I will, yeah, go ahead and fool take this. I lost. Oh my god. I am always bigger. My mouth is always bigger than what I can actually achieve. I was wounded. Splitting my attention between two strikes proves to have been ambitious. I'm first aware of the dagger being ripped from my grasp when my offhand dagger jerks towards it involuntarily, only for that weapon to be smashed away from me by Amin's backswing. Bereft of weapon, backup weapon, and with my opponent preparing to pulverize my waist, there's only one thing to do. I find it interesting. We are a good fighter, but our arrogance here stood in our way. I'm not sure whether we either A, take away from this that we should always focus on killing our opponents and then hold our speeches, or whether we will simply lean even more into arrogance. He must have done something, you know, maybe he poisoned me the night before, gave me bad food, that kind of thing. Here's a prowess of 0. You will rue the day that you defeated Sir Jourdain. Absolutely. I'm also no longer wounded, very nice. Thank you to my physician, big fan. And I think without a doubt actually, damn ingrates, we become irritable. That sounds completely in character. And now with this humiliation, I will move on. I will leave. We could go to Sardinia here. You know, we hear stories. We hear stories of Iberia. There's a lot of power vacuums going on right there. Let's take a gander at this. We have the Duronids under Sultan Ismail ibn Yahya here. Then we have Aragon. This is Rey Sancho Ramirez of Aragon, Navarra. All of them Christian kingdoms. I think our wife would probably also enjoy if we went, maybe, if we visited, of course, Santiago. I think she would be a big fan of this. Oh, they're infighting here, so there is a lot of fighting going on. Very interesting. Granada, yeah, all of them, there's a lot of fighting happening here. You know what? I think we're going to choose a new camp purpose. I will become swords for hire, and we're going to make camp in Mallorca. In Mallorca, then, hopefully, I will be in a position where I can start taking swings at the Iberians. And you know what? Now, before we go, I will also recruit a couple of troops. Maybe some Norman mercenaries, of course, would be in the vicinity here. Let's get some Conroy. It is very expensive, but, well, that is just the way the cookie crumbles. And with that, I will be getting on my way. Actually, you know what? First of all, of course, I have to collect some money from whoever I can. You know how it is. Oh, you really don't want to? Unfortunate. Okay. He wants to. Okay, I'll take some provisions. I think that is okay. Yeah, I'll even take the prestige laws right there. It means that I can immediately bring up my Conroy to actually being full. Big fan. And then we can still get on our way. Oh my god, and there's a night attack, and I can only assume that this is yet again our rival sending enemies towards us. Into the fray I go. Counter-attack with me? Well, no. We are just running in. We will become a fighter here. Bloodied and broken. Oh my god, we've been wounded again. Luckily, we got healed right away, but we had a terrible time in North Africa. We told people our story, and the rulers listened to us. But the common folk, yeah, not so much. It is anarchy down there. Pure, pure horror. The Al-Maghribiyun is a home to a famous wayside shrine that I happen to be passing by today. Locals tell us that it isn't uncommon for travelers to spend even a few days praying here, for it is said that doing so will ensure safe passage for one's journey. I'm unsure how helpful praying at this site would be, but I should at least pay my respects to God while we are here. Merta would 100% demand that we stop here. I am going to spend a few days of prayer here, because she has given me 3 sons, and I am deeply, deeply grateful for this. She is the person that has now been in my corner ever since she realized that this is our destiny. Oh, and Roger is actually getting trained quite well by Mukhtar here. Again, I am not negative towards Mukhtar, sorry, but these minus 30 or minus 60 in a combined fashion right here for a landless ruler are stupid, they're insane. We're not a landed ruler, I'm going to ignore these modifiers, it doesn't matter. My second in command is doing great work, and I deeply, deeply appreciate it. And so we now have arrived in Iberia. The Iberian struggle. The Iberian Peninsula is in turmoil, a conflict born of its storied past. Outsiders covet the land, and the great Muslim and Christian powers seek to sway its people. But those who live and die on its soil will ultimately determine its fate. The time has come for me to take hold of the situation and my destiny. I see all the pieces laid out on the board. I know the way forward, and there will be no stopping House de Sicile. I sure hope so. Let's take a gander. What does this actually do for interlopers? So, I don't... Okay, this is unavailable, that's fine. Longer truces... Control growth doesn't apply to us. Hybridizing cultures is easier. Interesting. I am an interloper indeed. Development growth. Okay, nothing really that I care about. If I conquered, I would have an easier time ruling it. In the experience that we did, of course, have in Sicily when it came to the Langobards, to the Greeks, and to the Arabs, well, we have learned to rule over them. This right here is the perfect kind of synergetic culture for Normans, because we are indeed the ruling caste, we have an easier time ruling over others, and then the Mozarabs are malleable subjects. We meet these people and they immediately pay us respect. It is almost as though, you know, the glove here really fits. We have arrived to the court of Emir Muhammad ibn Ali of Mallorca. I think he pays us decent respect. We are quite neutral. We aren't hostile or anything, of course, just yet. Interesting. Oh, and in the time that it took me to travel here... Oh no, okay, they didn't fall apart. I just see the inner workings of the realm as I am within it. That makes perfect sense. Okay. Oh, he's a Berber. I didn't even catch that. They are Berbers. Yahya is a Berber. I had no idea. Okay. Interesting. We know their rights. We know their language. Let me ask you something, Emir Muhammad. How do you feel about court employment? Not actually that negatively. I could theoretically become employed by Emir Muhammad ibn Ali if I did my best. Interesting. Now for the time being, let's just grab a couple of contracts here. Maybe we got something for ourselves here. Learning criminal. You know what? I'll do hireling contracts, sure. I want to get better and better at this, of course. Let's be the hired muscle. Why not? And what is this? We have Guillaume here. He's Occitan. Okay. Lord, you and I both know that Catholics are not welcome around here. Doubtless you too have encountered the prejudice that God's faithful face in these lands. Frankly, I haven't, but I see a very talented man. A very talented man indeed, and... well, I do think that is a great addition here. Yeah, you know what? Of course, you can join me. He is a friend of mine now. He will advise me, I think, as a great commander and knight. I think that is a great idea, actually. Very lucky that he came here to assist us directly. We might yet have a future here. Why are there so many Instructor of Knights contracts? This is ballooning. Let's just finish this one, and then we're going to do one of those. Great, we actually did it. Wonderful, Jordan. The Garden of Alcudia is beautiful, blissfully silent, and I can rest a little easier at night. We did this just for this guy right there. That is, of course, how it works. Currently, we're just doing contracts for barons. Sadly, that is the case as long as we have such a low level of prestige. Growing up, father. I have decided that as I am now a man, I shall have my own tent. No more sharing with anyone for me. The youth stands still, spiel finished, petulant defiance oozing from his posture. Almost involuntarily, I crook an eyebrow at this unprovoked display. I will not budge on this. I'm an adult and I demand to be treated as an adult. You want it. Earn it. Interesting. Okay. You're a man now. I could tell him that. Or I could simply say you are a child. I do love my son. I do. How much independence do we really want to grant him? I think taking action is a virtue, but he has to earn it. So I will indeed. This is the most fitting option for our house and for this character. Let's see how it goes. He triumphs. Wow. Very, very impressive. He actually has proven it to us. and so I will treat him quite well as a man in the camp now. Maybe soon giving him more responsibilities as well. Alright, and now we shall instruct the knights here. Let me just, just got one knight. He's good. Yeah, okay, I think we can teach him something here. Surely this will be feasible. I will not hire him. Nope, nope, nope. We're not going to do this. He should just follow my moves. This would be a 48% chance. This is a 45% chance. You know what? I'm going to go with this one. It's just better, I guess. That's really all I can say there. He can't keep up. All right. Well, contract failed. Great contract, guys. Let's go back and do it again. Alright, you know what? I failed this contract 3 times. Hope I didn't show you to it on camera. This is, you guys are terrible. You suck. Now, I do want to make one thing clear, and this is very interesting, and I think why he chooses this path as well. When he has arrived here, he arrived with troops that are foreign to the region. The Conrois are not something that the people here have seen very often. He has arrived, and he has been taken seriously so far. Yes, he failed to train the knights, but that is down to them rather than himself. He also currently only has 5 knights, but that is not really what matters. When the Normans arrived in Sicily, close to Monte Gargano, they were mercenaries. They fought in various wars on various sides, and they always became more influential as they started to dominate the battlefield left and right. I think that is the exact same potential that he recognizes in Iberia. Here, it is too devastated. Here, the chaos is too big. The people are too underhanded. Sir Jourdain right here sees this as a mirrored perspective of Sicily. House de Sicile is going to go on and wage war much like his ancestors did. Let's take a look at this. So he has 999 soldiers. The enemy side has 1,356. I'm going to join this war just because it is the first official stand with us contract. I could, of course, also offer military assistance. That's okay. I'm going to take this, and we're going to see what I can make happen here. Oh, and there are a lot more hostile people. That's right. Amazing. Okay, so that statistic just lies, as they do. All right, well, nothing I can do about. And this technically puts us at odds with Mallorca right here. Oh, I love my luck. I really do love my luck. Can I switch sides? Would have been amazing, but no such luck. Okay, you know what? I'm going to leave here. We're gonna get on our way. Oh. I'm not gonna leave. I'm gonna siege Mallorca. If I can plunder this island, maybe I will have to leave afterwards. But it seems plenty success could stem from it. And look at that, they are actually also winning battles here in southern Iberia. Good thing that I didn't go, I wouldn't be arriving in time anyway. I can simply be sieging Mallorca proper. Unfamiliar rations, so as we are besieging them, indeed, we are dealing with a territory that we don't know all that well. Man, this is so amazing to think about. Landless gameplay, as much as I think the gameplay routine isn't the best, but the idea that I can literally redo the conquests that were done in Sicily except in Iberia, I love it. This is a local recipe, she begins, supposedly authentically Mozarab. I was assured so by a passing merchant, right. So this is essentially something new that she is cooking up. My half-sister, the evil. I don't think she's done anything evil. I do like that she is with me instead of Guillermo Drangeau right here. Are your children? Oh, you don't have any children. Interesting. I look at the substance with suspicion. Is that stewed ferret with parsnips blended with herbs from Norman cuisine? We are building already a new culture. I could become the narrow-minded, but I don't think he is that way. And also, I much prefer the bastard, quite frankly. Now, here we have yet another important event for our children. Apparently, Atrat spit in my son Roger's food during dinner a few nights ago. You're a waif, Roger screams, but you're a cur, Atrat screams back. Roger has been fighting with Atrat every day since. Not a minute goes by without him plotting some sort of petty revenge. Well, I mean, you will have revenge in time. All you need to do is work for it. I like this kid. I really like this kid. Let's keep sieging Mallorca. Man, we showed up here. I was quite decently positive towards Emir Mohammed. And then, of course, I turned around. If that isn't Norman conduct, then I don't know what is. I hope I can siege this before, you know, the war ends right here. Oh, what are you for? What are you under attack for? We have Expedition to Pui. Oh my god. Benevento. That is the Landolfidi dynasty. The Langobards are coming back, and they are sending some of the nomads. I don't know whether they can win this, but it looks likely here. We have High Chieftain Hassan the Old of the Hilalite Al-Badu. Remember, yet again, this is the Banu Hilal. They are newcomers to this region as well, and they now want to secure Sicily. I don't like just, you know, borders-wise that they're going for Apulia, but that's okay. They should have gone for Sicily proper. Doesn't really matter to me. That is insane. Sicily is still a battleground, to which I am sure we will return one day. Oh my god, and he's coming for me. That's not good. That's really, really bad, actually. There's nothing I can do. If he comes for me, he comes for me. I don't think I will be able to siege this in time. Oh, that is rough. Okay, we'll see. Starving soldiers. A figure stumbles into camp, dirty and tired, clearly in need of a square meal. His name is Bubai, he says. They are more like me. He gestures off into the distance. All of us left to rot after every petty conflict ends. Our sword arms work as well as ever, but our lot is to wander and starve. This is very interesting. The historical mercenaries in Sicily, and we already discussed this in previous videos, but they also very openly took in lowlifes, they took in Muslims. They did not care because it was about the sheer power that the numbers would bring. We're the only ones left who won't rob the vulnerable for food and valuables. His eyes glint with determination despite his haggard bearing. I would rather die. There's more of you, you say. He becomes a chevalier. See, this is just not that good. Oh man, these event outcomes are not that great because I don't have anything that can be filled out by him joining me here. I will take him in as another blade. Are you good at this? Yeah, he's decent at this. Why not? Okay. Can I raise more men here? Yeah, let's raise more armies. Raise a single man. He will surely swing this fight for me. I don't like that they're coming for me. Come on, if I got this siege before them, but I'm not gonna. This is gonna be such a tough fight. He will take this fight. He knows of his ancestors. If he gets to slay the Emir himself here, it would be magnificent. He is going to choose to battle it out directly. I wish we could siege this in time, but I don't think that is going to happen. They will, of course, have a massive penalty against them. It shows me that we, recently disembarked will, of course, apply. The spearmen here worry me a lot. Maybe I can make this happen either way. Let's figure it out, right? As we go, we got a plus 41, and we are actually winning. That is crazy. The Conrois are holding. Are you seeing how few of them die? Oh my god. Okay, so we demolished them, actually. Didn't kill too many of them. Oh, and Ishak here, one of my knights. Actually, wasn't a great knight. I don't know who he was, but that's okay. Enemy combatants captured. I captured him! Oh my god. That is incredible. That is actually incredible. The tale of me capturing Emir Muhammad ibn Ali of Mallorca in the battle for Mallorca is absolutely worth telling. If he were to die, let's just think about this for a moment. It would fall to Sheikhdom of Al-Akun, Sheikh Muiz ibn Ali, and he would obviously be an enemy of mine. Now, do I want to kill him? It might be a good idea just to make an example out of him. I don't get anything out of this. Oh, it's a gallows bait thing, huh? I suppose executing a nobleman is never really worthwhile. The bad news is, as good as this battle is, and man, you know what? I really wish that this battle actually got like a marker. There's no travel marker, I don't think. And that would be amazing, but okay, I can't siege the town anymore. That is the really, really bad news. Oh, they're not actually walking into me. They lost their commander, of course they aren't. Oh, that is humiliating, my friends. That is just awful for you. Yeah, the troops are literally just retreating. I'm not sure that we're gonna win this war, by the way. They seem to be in a bit of a weird space here. This is about Malacca. We are attacking... No, we're defending. We should get ticking war score, right? Yeah, we do. Okay. Oh my god, both of them have been imprisoned. That is magnificent, let me tell you this. And I think I will be bringing my troops over to the mainland. If I can't siege Mallorca, so be it. Let's wage war in the south. Oh, we have won, but wait a minute. Actually, there's way more now. So Sicily is losing the fight against Apulia. Princess Guy's claim on Apulia. So he is pushing Prince Guy of Salerno. Oh, right. Yeah, we completely... He has nothing to do with us, because he is a son of Robert. We never held that land. Which means the Kingdom of Sicily is going to get... Oh my god, he even integrated Hungary. He's integrating Normandy. This is Universal Empire. It's going to surely fall apart after his death, but the moment... But for the time being, as he stands here, as he reigns, this is the most incredible power that anybody could hold in life. I am glad that I am out of the reaches of him. My god, what a guy. Let's get back to this right here. What are we doing? Let me just fill you in on this. We have just landed, and we are seeking battle, but I have noticed, actually... It's over. We've literally imprisoned every last of these rulers right here. Now, I do think I get to sell him back, even if they now peace out. Let's just double check this. I wish we could seek another battle here, but as long as they just take a peace, that's fine. Yeah, there it is. So what are we getting? Oh, that's so much money! I love you. Amir ibn al-Mutadid of Al-Ghazira al-Qadra, you are a great man. You are such a splendid man. Let me just double check this. So I just resolved it. He is still in my prison. My friend... He's losing money, so the sooner I sell him, the better for me. Oh, and they hate each other. Okay, I'm not gonna do you a favor and like execute him or anything. I'm simply going to sell him. This was an incredible, incredible entry into this location. Think about what just happened here. We humiliated them thanks to our Conroi and our Conroi only. Obviously, the mercenaries are not in a great space here. Kind of losing, you know, what made them so great. I am going to take the money from him. We're going to be back up to 100 bucks. That is huge. And then we're going to fill our soldiers once more. We now have an elite army made up of Conroi. We are going to dive headfirst into the Iberian conflict as the rest of the Catholic world gets unified, undoubtedly here. That is incredible. The impact that this will have many generations down the road is akin to anything that Charlemagne has done here. But that is none of our concern. We have arrived as Normans in Iberia and we have won the very first battles against the opponents, against all those that, very similarly I should say, stood up against our relatives here in Sicily. House de Sicile, Dynasty de Sicile has a great future ahead of itself. I can already feel it. He is charming, by the way, which means he's also leaning into this direction. I might bring them up, whether they like it or not, as Marshal. Only he is locked in for intrigue. Oh, I could change it, actually. Interesting. I might bring him up as Marshal just because that is what they need to be. Much like I was a knight and a commander for my father, they have to serve me in the very same position. We are doing splendidly. Folks, if you are looking forward to maybe us settling in Iberia, maybe us gathering powers here and then returning to Sicily as it gets decimated right now by the Holy Roman Empire, let me know in the comments. Thank you again to all the members of the channel, and I will see you later, Alligator.